If you check out the problem set number 1, you would find that towards the end of that set, there are several questions. They are about circular flow diagram. Circular flow diagram is a simplified version of the explanation on how our economic system works. Okay? And you can actually find the discussion of the circular flow diagram at the beginning of chapter 2. So it's not in chapter 1, it's actually part of the chapter 2. Okay? But it's pretty straightforward. So that's why I did not really make an actual video just about that. Okay, I just put a Khan Academy video over there, and you can also check out that part of the book, the textbook, to know what exactly the circular flow diagram is. Okay. However, some students would say that we would like to have more examples, okay? Especially the examples that's closer to what you're gonna see on the quiz. So that's why I make this video. Okay, just give you one more example. Okay, and please remember that the circular flow diagram, as a simplified version of our economy, discusses or demonstrates the relationship between households and firms. Okay, and what connects the households and firms is the market. Okay, we get two types of the markets: the market for goods and services and the market for factors of production. Okay, all right. Now here, let's start with households. Okay, so if we put households here on the left-hand side. Okay. Now, in this specific case, you would find that the households are Sarah and her brother John. Okay. And so what I'm showing here is just a specific version. Okay? It's not the general version of the circular flow diagram. In a general version, you're supposed to see households in this box. Okay. All right, and on the right hand side, let's put the box for the firm. In this case, it's Starbucks. All right, and let's look at the first part of this example. Sarah stops by a Starbucks store in the morning and spends $4 in buying a cup of coffee, right? So here, the market that connects Sarah and Starbucks is the coffee market, right? This is, again, a specific example for market for goods and services. So this is the coffee market. Okay, and when Sarah purchased a cup of coffee, the coffee flows from the Starbucks through the coffee market, eventually to the hand of Sarah, right? So here we're supposed to put coffee here and here. Okay. In this transaction, Sarah has to pay Starbucks $4. So the cash flow goes from Sarah through the market, eventually to Starbucks register, cash register, right? And the dollar amount here is $4. All right. So again, in this transaction, we see the flow of goods and services, specifically the flow of coffee through the market, okay, from the farm to the household. And we also see the cash flow from Sarah's pocket through the market to Starbucks cash register. Okay. All right. The second part of this example, John works at the same store for $15 per hour. So the market that connects John and Starbucks is labor market, or you could say job market. Okay, so you could imagine that John actually goes to this market and find this job at a local Starbucks store. Okay, now in this case, we find that John provides labor service through the market to Starbucks. Okay, so here is a labor here. Okay, or more specifically, if you want, you could say, for example, John works 8 hours per day over there, right? So that's 8 hours labor service, right? And in return, John receives $15 per hour from Starbucks. Okay, so the cash flow goes from Starbucks to the pocket of to John's pocket. Okay, so here we're supposed to do $15 per hour, and the same here, $15 per hour. All right, so if this was the question on the quiz, then you just need to show me these 4 boxes. Okay, you put specifically the household, the firms, and the 2 markets into the right boxes. Okay, and then use the arrows to show the the goods and services flow and the cash flow. Okay, and put the specific good or service and the dollar amount to the right place. Okay, now a common question is you would say, can I flip it? For example, can I put the Sarah and John to the right-hand side and Starbucks on the left-hand side? Or can I put the coffee market to the bottom and the labor market to the top? Yes, definitely. Okay, no problem at all. You can flip it. You can rotate it. Okay, in other words, you put the household and firms vertically and put 2 markets horizontally. No problem. Okay, what matters here is the interaction among them, how they connect to each other. Okay, all right, so this is actually the simplest version of circular flow diagram. Okay, and later when we talk about the government policies, we can add the government into this circular flow diagram. So that would be a little bit advanced version. Okay, so you can put government here. Okay, and once you get the government in this diagram, then the government will interact with the household and the firm. Okay, and remember, government will collect the tax revenues from households. Okay, more specifically, here we're talking about the income tax and other things like the property tax. Okay, and the government also collects tax dollars from Starbucks. Now, on this side, it's more likely to be sales tax and or corporate tax. Okay, in return, the government will provide public services to the households and the firm. Okay, so public services on this side. Okay, and public service. Now, on the left-hand side, the public service could be public schools, okay, funded by tax dollars, or the water pipeline, for example, okay, or infrastructure, or police department, fire department, okay, funded by the tax dollars. On the right-hand side, the service that government provides to Starbucks could be, again, some kind of the infrastructures, right? And some business administration services, like supporting services, right? For example, the intellectual property right protections, stuff like that, okay? So we can add things to this diagram to make it more realistic. Okay. Another way to extend this is you can even add the financial markets here. Okay. So the financial markets would interact with households, firms, and the government. All right. So this is an example for the circular flow diagram.